Hey, this is Mike Herrera. You're listening to Magnified Pod.
This is a yelling podcast. From poking at you to plans and everything in between, this is Magnified Pod, the only podcast that discusses culture, religion, politics, and the entire discography of everyone's favorite left coast punks, MX, PX. And we're back.
Oh, yeah.
My name is Andrew.
My name is John. Way to go.
Yeah, I did it. It only took us 22 episodes.
We're finally nailing it, though.
Yeah, we're finally getting into, after almost 5 months,
Yeah.
we're almost getting into that groove.
We've completed nearly the entire discography, but I really think we're hitting our stride.
You know, it's something else that we haven't done is change the intro because
Yeah.
why? Who cares?
We did mention this a while ago when we did our first impressions, that if folks have some clever way to include the self-titled release in our intro.
You know,
Please
actually, Jason Hockney Zymet threw one my way
Yeah.
from Special Report to self-titled.
That's pretty good.
Because Special Report was the very first.
It's true.
It was like came on the flexi disc in the
Right.
special edition that I
That's
didn't
old
get.
school.
That's old school, man. That's old school. I want to hear some Special Report. Be old school.
Yeah, I still like our intro.
Yeah.
So in case anybody comes up with anything better, we like it.
Yeah, we will pretend, even if it's like amazingly better, we're still going to stick with this one.
That's right.
Because at this point, it'd be too weird to kind of
Yeah.
backtrack on an intro. So we are recording this on November 7th. So, you know, the day after the election, everything is normal in the country.
Right.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
No big news or anything.
Definitely.
Everything.
The president didn't follow last night by telling reporters that they were the enemy of the American people. He
Yeah.
didn't then fire the attorney general and
No.
fast track.
He also didn't tell a black reporter that the question she was asking was racist.
Yeah.
That definitely didn't happen.
Sure, you understand that word, bro.
Yeah. So if you are a white man holding the most powerful office, arguably, in the world, I don't think you are in the position to make assertions about racism, because racism is inherently connected to structural elements, and
Right.
there are elements of power involved within racism. Somebody can be bigoted
Right.
toward Trump, but structural racism and bigotry are inherently different things. And to just repeat it over and over and over again, that's just his MO, to just keep saying the same shit over and over and over until people just sort of like, fuck, fine. Okay, just whatever. Just, you know, bully me out of the conversation.
Yeah.
So we will get into the politics,
Yeah. That was just a little taste.
schmolitics.
That's right.
But I want to kind of discuss. So this episode probably is going to come out, well, certainly is going to come out after our episode with Brian Buchelt.
Double B.
Double B. Bremerton Bry 2.0.
That's right.
He's not the original Bremerton Bry. So, you know, I wanted to just kind of talk about the 3-hour episode
That's right, people.
that we did for the self-titled record. So I think it is just, you know, it's in all fairness. I just want to be up front. I think we've established this relationship with you as the listener that we want to be honest. But yeah, by the end of that 3 hours, I was really fucked up.
Could you tell listeners?
I don't know if you said you couldn't tell. Listening back,
it wasn't as bad as I expected it to
be. Because Satan in the car drinking from the flask, as I was. Yeah,
Satan really tempted you that night.
He tempted me with drink, and I acquiesced to his demands.
Well, I think it made for great content.
Yeah.
Personally.
Well,
including
I think,
you calling me a heartless piece of shit.
Yes, I did do that.
You sounded pretty clear-headed at that moment, actually.
Depending on what hour we were in. I think
sure.
once we got past the 2 hour mark,
yeah.
I think is when I started hearing the shift in my own voice. But it for those who are concerned, the accommodations at Magnified Studios West kept me safe.
That's right.
And I was not out on the roads after that. It was funny because I told this to John the next day that it wasn't until after we finished recording that I remember standing up and saying, "Whoa!" because it like almost hit me, like right after, and I was like, "This is
not going to work.
This is not going to work. This isn't good." So yeah, I guess that whiskey sneaks up on you when you can't exactly see how much you're drinking from the flask.
That's the danger of Satan's flask.
Can we start a band called Satan's Flask?
Yeah, man, I'm definitely in.
That sounds punk as fuck.
Satan's Flask. Roll. Take off the lid and take a sip.
Is this the moment where we should mention Thorsch?
100%.
I keep meaning to bring this up.
Yeah.
Thorsch is the band of one of our buddies from college, and they were, I don't know, what would you call them?
Metal?
Certainly metal. I don't know if there's a particular
I would say they had elements of thrash.
Yeah.
Maybe some death metal.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call them metalcore, but I think they fell more in the thrash and maybe death metal, especially with the titles of their songs. Mm-hmm. Thrash You Die, Blood-Filled Memories,
sure,
Kill the Silence, Unmourned.
These are. My favorite record was Children of the Thorsch.
Children of the Thorsch. Battle.
Children of the
parentheses. Battle Cry. Yeah.
I bring them up because to this day, when I do like a voice, I always think of Thorsch and how they played with POD a couple times. Anyway, our buddy Cooper really held it down. There's one song in particular we were listening to the other day that is burned in my memory from college. Was
it Children of the Thorsch? Or which?
Yeah, I think it was because they talk about the different elements that they are.
Fire.
Each of the band members is a different element, and one of them is traffic control. Element of traffic control. Anyway,
we should.
I think we need to hear a little.
Yeah.
After.
Well, I think I also want to share that in 2003, the summer that I met Dana when we were working at a camp together.
Summer of Love, as you said.
It was the summer of love. So I was a camp counselor for a bunch of. It was at a Christian camp, and in my cabin, Lakeside 5 represent.
Yeah.
I chose to wake up the children every morning.
The children of the Thorsch.
The children of the Thorsch. Instead of, a regular alarm or being like, Good morning, children. The Lord loves you today.
That would be worse.
That would be terrifying, actually. I decided to put my Thorsh CD into my boombox, press play, and let this be their alarm clock.
I feel it coming. So great. Ugh, those drums are good. I mean, this slaps. Oh man. It's been a little while since we have featured friends bands or
You're welcome, children.
time to praise and play.
Wait.
Yeah. With our buddy Coop Dizzle. I was going to say it's been a little while.
That song's called Metal Beast.
Of course. It's been a little while since we've featured. It's been a while since we've featured listener band submissions.
That's true.
We are always ready to receive those.
Yes.
So if you had a fantastic Christian punk band back in the day,
Or metal.
or
anything.
yeah, as we said in the last episode, we do not discriminate. You know, we'll take your Nickelback cover bands if you are so inclined.
Yes, and if you do send us your Nickelback cover band, we might discuss them in our future Nickelback podcast. Look at that potograph.
Oh man, can I tell one really? I feel like we're three stories.
Yeah,
Stories along.
This is a very layered intro.
Yeah, this is just gonna be really quick. I think it was. We're known for brevity, just like MXPX.
This is the Aaron Sprinkle of podcasts. Just kind of it's like, oh, we want to keep a nice brief, 50-minute punk record.
Yeah, let's layer in some more effects here for this story. In college, it was somebody's birthday. That's right. It was somebody's birthday, and we went to this bar, and nobody was in there except for the band that was playing, who was a Creed cover band called My Own Prison.
Oh my God.
And
that is simultaneously humiliating and amazing.
I think it might have been my birthday. There was literally nobody there except for the band.
What year was this?
2004, 3?
How can you be a cover band of a band that's actively
they were huge, man.
Yes, but at the same time that they're already playing, that's weird.
It is weird. But we walked in and the lead singer from the stage said, "You guys like Creed?" And we all went, "No." And then proceeded to listen to them. So anyway, Creed cover bands, Nickelback cover bands, send in your MP3s.
That's amazing.
What were we talking about?
Let's see. What were we talking about? Talking about Thorsh.
Yes.
Metal.
I don't know how we got there to begin with, but
I don't remember either.
Anyway,
I think maybe we were talking about the episode that we were discussing.
Sure.
And you know what? Maybe that's a talking about other people's bands. Maybe it's a good time to transition to some voicemails.
Mm-hmm.
Can I leave you a message on your machine?
About our last episode, because we have a little bit of a controversy, if you will, about the Halloween candy that we are enjoying.
Uh-oh.
What's up, my dudes? Your boy Danny Stairs. Listen to the pod. I would say John's definitely wrong about the Starburst. Pink is 100% top. Nothing gets better than a fake Starburst. Wet, maybe a close second, but probably more of a distant second, honestly. So that's all I got for you now. I'm sure I'll have more. Bye.
So, Danny Stairs calling out your preference for the red Starburst.
I remember you were like taken aback through your drunken stupor that I said red was obviously the best one and that pink was the second. And you're like, whoa, hold on. Like, we got to assess this.
Yeah, pink Starburst is a clear winner.
I don't know. I ride red all the time. If you have a strong feeling, pink or red, you let us know.
Yeah.
We're going to do our top 3 Starburst flavors in the next step.
And yellow is last.
Yeah, yellow's definitely last. We can agree on that.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have some voicemails from Danny Leary from MXPX Memes, who had a handful of takes, but this might also be a good time to let people know that we appreciate any and all voicemails.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that I just learned this. There's a 3-minute limit.
So we got one that's longer than 3 minutes.
Well, we did, but I think
a 3-minute voicemail for a 3-hour pod. That
exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah. So you can leave as many as you want. Just know that at the 3-minute mark, Google says
that's enough.
That's enough. So I wish it wasn't the case. I tried to find a setting that made it longer, but that didn't. But also, Danny had there were some issues with the audio in one of his voicemails.
Daniel Starrett over here.
Burn notice.
Yeah.
No, so there were some issues with like audio cut out, so we had to call back and re-record the message. So you'll hear part of that. But this first one is, well, actually, I don't remember what it is, so we'll just listen and find out.
Hey guys, it's Danny. I was calling because I haven't even finished the 3-hour pod yet for the 2018 album, but I just finished listening to the discussion about 2020 hindsight, and I wanted to call and give my thoughts on it, especially since it was my news outlet that broke the story that the song is about ICE, or that's at least what Mike said.
It's exclusive.
So, the main sticking point, and I felt the same way as Andrew did, is that second verse. It's like the first verse is so clear. It's so obviously about someone being taken away from ICE and being deported to a country that they've never actually lived in. So that's just like, if Mike was being truthful, then it's useful to think that that's exactly what the song's about from the beginning part. But then the second part is like here's my pep talk. You got this on lock. Show them how hard you can fight. It's like, are we telling the victims of ICE that you got to fight this on your own? But that's weird if that was the case. But I thought about it while you guys were talking about it, and I'm thinking that second verse is actually like a pivot narratively from being about the person who's been deported by ICE to possibly like all of us, like, or maybe Mike himself, like or it might be even a little bit more like obscure than that. It might be a little bit of everything. I don't think that second verse is clearly one point of view like the first verse is. Basically, so it's like we got that. It's like, show them how hard you can fight. I started to think, is that talking about the guy who's being deported by ICE, or is that possibly the country who doesn't want to see this policy being in place, and it's all of us fighting to put the country back into a place we felt like it was going before everything sort of went shit crazy like it has the last couple of years. So I don't know. It's still, this is just, a basic idea. And then, and I'm going to call back because I think it's different.
So What do you think?
I think it's a fair point. We sort of posited that idea.
We sort of posited the 2020 hindsight part being from maybe a Trump voter,
Right.
who felt like they got duped, and that the hindsight was, they were like, well, now I know, and fool me once kind of situation.
Yeah. I think I was saying, like, maybe it's the kind of thing even generally you look at, like, as a country or as a policy, this kind of thing seems like a good idea. And then in retrospect, you're like, maybe that was a knee-jerk reaction and actually not the best way to deal with it. So,
Yeah.
I think he's probably correct.
Yeah. Did you happen to see that video that I sent about
I watched a little bit and I was just like,
it was too rough?
I can't
Yeah.
fully deal with this right now, but you should talk about it.
Yeah. So this was maybe back in September. I think it was The Atlantic, wasn't it? That released
Sounds right.
a little story following one mom and her son who were separated at the border, and he was being kept in a cage, and she didn't see him for weeks, and so she was able to get out because of one particular immigration lawyer who helped her. And this was one mother and one child. This was just one case of many of the families who are going through this. And the boy is, I think, is maybe 6 years old. His name is Henry. And he was eventually out. And, and they were talking about kind of the trauma that he was going through and how his mom was noticing how he changed. And this one particular scene in the video was him just in tears, crying, saying like he wants to go back to the prison because she doesn't love him anymore. And he was just like, it was just that he felt betrayed by her because he thought she did this to him.
Right.
And this is, so both of these people like left. She talked about how back in, I think she was from Honduras. No, I can't remember where she was coming from now. But she was talking about how she was being threatened at gunpoint, and so she's like had to make a choice, and she's like, did I make the right choice? What did I do to my son? And I think this is, no matter what, what's her name? Kristen, who's the head of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
Something that she says, they are indignant when people suggest that this is the plan to discourage people from coming here by doing this sort of horrible detaining of children.
Right.
And they're like, how dare you? Of course we don't want to do this, but I think this is probably part of some Republicans and some right-wing people would probably hear this story about this mom being like, did I do the right thing? And see that as a victory. Mm-hmm. We traumatized one child and one mom, and, questioning whether or not they should do this. They might think, oh, good. Now if it's giving them pause, maybe these people who are fleeing violence won't come here if they know that we're locking their babies in cages, literal babies. But people it's still happening. There are people whose children have not been reunited.
Like a lot.
Yeah. And there have been recent stories where they just discovered, oh, we found more
Right.
kids that we thought we knew where most of them were, but oops, no, we discovered that we didn't know where some were
Right.
at this point.
Yeah, Kirsten Nielsen is the name of
that's right.
the person behind that bad policy.
Yep. I mean, bad is kind of understatement.
Evil?
Understatement of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was The Atlantic that did that video, by the
Yeah.
way. If
What's
people want to go
what's
check
it
it
called?
out and be depressed and inspired to act, it is called How Trump's Family Separation Traumatized Children.
Yep. It's they're sort of like short mini docs.
Right.
They're like 10 to 15 minutes or something like that. But also hearing Henry talk about his experience was like there was a boy who was with him who was cold.
Right.
And he was like trying to get another blanket for the boy because he didn't want to see the boy be cold and shivering, and he didn't want him to get sick. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. Like this, it's just, this is
It's
like
evil.
this kid is, and he's a sweetheart kid. And I think about what did we do to him?
Yeah.
And for what?
Right.
You know, like this is a good-natured, good-hearted boy.
Right.
If that's his instinct to like want to help and nurture somebody else who's in need.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
most little kids are
like that.
defaulting to being good-hearted.
Yeah. Until they find a reason to be
Right. Totally.
cynical and jaded and harmed psychologically.
So that's that voicemail.
I just felt like I needed to,
Yeah.
since we're talking about it, and
Sure.
this episode is going to be more heavily politics than usual.
Strap in, everybody.
Strap it in.
Sure.
that didn't. Anyway, we'll just go into this is Danny doing a second part of the re-recording one of his voicemails because it messed up.
Hi, okay. I'm going to try this one more time. Okay. And then on your second point about why the music video is just kind of like a colorful cartoon, sort of vapid lyric video, and they didn't go for something deeper, I thought about it, and I was thinking, like, maybe it's kind of a subversion to do that, because just look at everyone's reaction to the song in general. Like, it doesn't seem like anybody figured out it was a political song about immigration, right? Like, nobody put that together, so maybe that's the idea. Maybe the idea to, like, make it just seem like a fun, happy, bright song from the actual tune to the music video, because maybe the idea is that Mike is kind of putting that idea into the heads of people that listen to their music that might be against that concept. I mean, I had this theory for my whole life when it came to Kristalina and how I thought the line about she happens to like boys was some sort of like low-key subversion to homophobia on a Christian record label in 1996, but now I've recently thought maybe that wasn't ever his intention, and so maybe now Mike was actually trying to do something like that, but in a very planned way, from the video to the song to everything. And the little bit of proof, or an example, a similar example I can give, is the English Beat have their song Twist and Crawl, which is seemingly a very vapid song about the twist and crawl, like everyone danced to the twist and crawl, and then all of a sudden halfway through the song, the lyrics just totally change and they're singing Stand Down Margaret, because it's an anti-Margaret Thatcher song. So it's like they put this, they purposely wanted radio stations to play it like it was just a dance song, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they start playing singing a completely in your face, and political message. So maybe there's something there. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm trying to piece together now that we might know what it's actually about. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. MagPod for life.
We will accept that even if it's said with resignation.
No,
MagPod for life.
No, I had texted with him after I got that and listened to it, and I lolled a lot. And it's because he had done a number of voicemails, and one didn't record properly, and then he did another one as sort of a false start, and so I think he was like,
Was his enthusiasm draining?
yes, and I didn't
MagPod for life.
I didn't blame him, but I thought it was still really hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like so defeated. MagPod for life.
Well, thanks for keeping on, Danny.
Yeah, at least he said it, unlike some other Dannys that listen.
Yeah, I think that my dog.
We need to just the elephant in the room is the dog in the room, because
She sounds like an elephant.
Harriet is making all the adorable little grunting noises.
She's been snoring, and then when you said her name just now, she opened her eyes a little bit.
Oh, now she's looking adorable.
She farted earlier. I don't know if you smelled that, but it was tough.
I didn't.
So anyway, this is the weekly Harriet segment. Harriet
Yes.
Potter.
Yeah. We need to have the Harriet pod, or
There you go.
that's terrible.
That's a special Patreon bonus up coming your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny, I think that is a good point. It might be the case that he didn't want to call a lot of attention to it in an overtly political way. I know the English beat, but not super well, so that was a cool reference.
Yeah.
I'm going to go listen to that.
Yeah, I mean, I do like the subversive idea of a Kristalina song, being low key, pro gay song like 20 some years ago, but I don't. I think you're probably assuming correctly that probably wasn't his intention.
He talked about that on the Life in General episode, I think.
I think so.
Because we raised this before. I think I sort of thought that might be what he was saying too, but was never totally.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I don't know, maybe this is the point of subversion and subversive songs and art for people to, but isn't it at some point the idea for subversive things to be somehow for people to become aware of the subversiveness?
Sure.
If everybody is oh, this song's really cool, it should be the first song, and it's actually a really dark song about ice. I mean, at what point is the subversion it's kind of self-defeating if it's not
getting
really
in the way of
if the vagueness of the song is getting in the way of the message.
Right. Perhaps he never meant it to be totally obvious, or
Maybe.
I don't know. Mike, leave us a voicemail.
Yeah, 872-762-4763.
That's 8727.
MagPod.
Yeah.
And also last week, John, or not last week, I guess at this point it'd be a couple episodes ago,
Sure.
on we'll just say the self-titled ep, we were calling out Harriet. Oh my God.
It's out of control.
It's out of control. We were calling out Saskatchewan
Yeah.
and Canada for the listeners.
The sketch.
The Skatch. So we got a voicemail from our boy CJ up in Saskatchewan. He had a couple thoughts, also alerting us to the fact that we have a 3-minute limit on our voicemail. So,
hey guys, thought I'd give you a shout. It's CJ here.
Love it.
Some people call me Funk. My name's also Chris. I go by CJ or Chris or Funk, whatever. I thought it was time I give you a ring because all the shout-outs to Saskatchewan.
That's right.
You said it differently.
I'm listening from Saskatchewan. I like you guys' show.
Saskatchewan.
I don't know anyone else, though, who's listening from Saskatchewan. I mean, I'm not saying there's not other people listening here from here, but you know what I'm saying.
You're calling us
I don't know anyone
liars?
else who listens from here, but I'm sure there's more.
So what we need to do then,
Sketch meetup.
Sketch meetup, got to get that Magpod Saskatchewan meetup. I mean, I'm sure that's a small area that everybody can just, it's not like it's a giant territory or anything.
Yeah. Yes, I think all the Sketchers out there should arrange this meeting and then let us know about
The
it.
Magpod Sketchers.
That's right. I would go up there.
So it's pretty cool that that's going on. So yeah, not much to say. No, I haven't been answering the question of the week anywhere lately. But oh yeah, I did want to say I've been an MXPX fan since 1999, probably. I first heard Party My House Be There. And I was like, what the heck is this? And I loved it. And I think I bought Let It Happen.
That's right.
And then I bought Buffalo sometime after that. And got hooked in my band, Chinese Hardware. Played a lot of MXPX
Right
in the
on.
early days. We didn't like playing covers that much, but we did it occasionally. We'd open a show with a cover or something. And here's something funny. I'm wondering if Andrew, obviously Andrew, you must be a PXPX Club fan member, right?
I am.
But maybe not, because here's something funny. On the Kickstarter, all I ordered was the plush doll, and it came with the digital download. That's all I got on the Kickstarter, and plush dolls came in. I got mine within a week. Which I thought was pretty awesome. Then, when the vinyl came in, and they said they were starting to ship the vinyl, I'm like, I'm going to check out the MXPX store. So I go to the website, check it out. They had some on there, but they said, oh, you'll only get vinyl if you pre-order before it comes in and before all that, because we're only ordering enough for yada, 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 right?
Right.
Well, it was on the store. So I'm like, oh, I'll try ordering one. I did signed vinyl. I did the photo book, which they also said was only going to be printing as many as were pre-ordered. I got a T-shirt, a couple other things. So I did not even put mine on the Kickstarter. I ordered it, and I got it within 2 weeks. And I'm up in Canada, Saskatchewan. I mentioned that, and I got mine before you. I had the vinyl on my phone.
All right.
There's glee in his voice.
So this is where the voicemail ends, but it ends at a good point because
You're so mad.
this was fucking news to me,
Yeah.
John. So what he is telling me, he didn't do any of the Kickstarter stuff.
No.
I mean, he's kind of blowing this thing wide open.
We've said previously, this is a conspiracy. This thing goes all the way to the top.
It goes all the way to
Tom Chichilla.
It goes all the way to Tom Chichilla. It goes all the way to Canada.
That's right.
You know, there are friendly neighbors to the north. I don't know, maybe because they're up in Bremerton, they rub elbows with Canada. They're like, I don't know, they're just, just tossed over the border.
Swapping vinyls.
They're swapping
rubbing
vinyls.
elbows,
They're swapping maple leaves.
free healthcare and smoking all that legal weed.
Yeah, right. God damn it. So I when I heard this, I was like, so okay, well here he continues after he this picks up where his
Okay, I got cut off. You guys did not say there was a voicemail time limit. It's CJ here again, and maybe there's not. Maybe my earbuds are screwed, so maybe none of this is being recorded. But I just thought I'd finish my thing. If it doesn't work, I'm going to try this again because I thought it was funny. I ordered the vinyl and the photo book and some other stuff after they started shipping the vinyl. I didn't even pre-order it on the Kickstarter, and I got mine at least 3 weeks before before, at least before Andrew got his. And so I thought that was funny. And I thought maybe it's because I'm a PXPX fan member and you're not. I don't know. Maybe they get priority somehow.
Nope, that is
But
not
it's
the
only
reason.
like $14 a year, so who wouldn't be part of the fan club?
It's a
Anyway,
good question.
Just thought I'd, you know,
Rub it in.
let you laugh with me on that one.
Oh, LOL.
And, yeah, keep it up, guys. Make Pod to life.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, he saved himself with that. So what he's telling me is I could have gone on to the MXPX store and ordered that shit like months ago and saved myself all of the bitching and moaning and complaining.
It wouldn't have made for as good of content, though.
Well, I'm glad my misery made for the good content.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, I have something to say to Tom Chichilla.
Y'all blow.
Solid. Yeah, I remember us talking about the CDs, and I was like, they're not going to sell them at shows and stuff. And you said,
Right.
no, they're only going to make...
This is what I thought, and maybe they called it an audible, and they were
Sure.
like, you know what? Maybe they were surprised by the success of the Kickstarter, and they needed to make. Then they made a pivot, and they're like, nope, we want to make this more available. But something that I did see in the recent Kickstarter updates is that there's a bunch of shit that people haven't claimed, and it seems that at some undisclosed time, some stuff is going to be going up onto the MXPX Merch Arsenal store.
All right.
So,
Is anybody being sent to any MXPX podcasts? Say, for example, somebody who's poured, hours into a labor of love.
John, I think we can write off any chance of getting any bones thrown our way,
Yeah.
because if what CJ is telling us is true,
Yeah. And I always trust a Scatcher.
yeah, I'm more likely to trust a Canadian than I am Tom Chichilla at this point, considering how much shade he's thrown at both of us.
It's true.
Whatever, whether it's in jest or not, we can throw plenty of shade as well. So,
Well, that's a fascinating revelation, CJ.
yep.
Thank you for sharing it.
Y'all blow.
So now that I have Daniel Starrett's voice on my computer forever, I can.
It's like a wacky morning zoo crew up in here.
It is. It's gonna be. I'm gonna use it at my discretion.
I did not have sex with that woman.
Boing.
Y'all blow.
Bill Clinton blows.
Yeah.
Because blowjobs.
I mean, that's a solid one.
Yep.
Negative comedy points.
Yeah. Nothing like relevant Bill Clinton jokes.
Yeah, love them.
You guys like jokes from 1996?
Yeah, I do. I like bands from '96.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of the 90s, have you seen that CNN like mini series about the 90s on Netflix?
I've heard about this.
Yeah, it's so I've watched the first few episodes. The first two were about TV, and then the third one was about music and kind of highlighting a lot of. They didn't cover they really covered a lot more of the mainstream stuff. So they covered
MXPX.
They covered MXPX. They covered Slick Shoes, of course. It was mostly about Tooth and Nail.
Chinese hardware.
They really focused on the Saskatchewan punk scene in the 90s. So yeah, I guess I buried the lead because I interviewed CJ Funk for this interview. No, but they're talking about Nirvana. They talked about like from moving from the 80s,
Def Leppard.
they didn't mention Def Leppard. They talked about Poison. They talked about Warrant.
Do they all have two arms?
They did not. They pretty much Rick Allen'd us. They just like chopped off.
Yeah.
They were just talking about how kind of going in from this vapid 80s hair metal into the 90s when
Adrenalize came out.
When
and
Adrenalize
changed
came
everything.
it was a game changer, and everybody was like, holy shit, let's
so
get
authentic
rocked.
and real.
It's
Stripped down.
It's interesting. I would recommend if you guys want to have a little bit of that 90s nostalgia and check it out.
Any more voicemails?
We don't have any more voicemails at the moment.
Leave us one of those. Should we get into the QOT dubs? Briefly?
There are a handful of people that I feel like we need to call out for being active on, on our Instagram and not ever leaving voicemails.
Maybe the phone is not their thing. We should set up a text number.
Isn't that just called Instagram?
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, come on. That's so we just want to get more of the interactions. We love talking with you guys and kind of having the conversation. So, I'm looking at you, shirt size small. I'm looking at you, April. Come on, get your shit together.
Sierra,
Benji, Martin, come on, guys. Let's get with those voicemails. Yes, I am chastising you.
Get your shit together.
Get your shit together.
Is the best way to engage with listeners.
I mean,
y'all blow.
Nailed it.
Whoa. Welcome back to Magnified Pod.
We should mention our most recent question of the week.
The question of the week, which we're actually not going to be doing on this ep.
Not yet.
Because we feel like it's going to take folks some time to maybe digest it, think about it, and decide whether or not they want to participate.
Yeah. Get through that episode in which we covered our top 10, which was not the shortest one we've done.
Especially since this week's episode came out 2 days ago from when we're recording, and people are not really going to be even getting to the end of the episode where we discuss it. So,
but you got to hang on for the end, because we do in fact go through our top 10 MXPX proper studio albums.
We did get one detractor on Twitter who said, I think you meant to say, and then he gave his top 10. So anyway,
well, yeah, it's a big ask, but we're very curious to see.
We love big asks around here.
We do, and
the bigger the better.
Cannot lie. And we want to know what other.
How about those Bremelos?
That's right. Oh man,
full circle.
That's right.
Like a big ask.
Exactly. We want to know what PXPXers out there, how your rankings compare to ours.
Yep. And why you're wrong, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I just feel like my tone has taken a big shift in the last
everybody
in the last 2 minutes.
If you like this show, I hate you.
Let me just take a moment to apologize to all our listeners.
Some soothing apology music.
Exactly. I just want to say right now
that's great
that I didn't mean what I said. And okay,
that reminds me of some sort of Conan sketch we've talked about.
Conan
Speaking
O'Brien?
of the 90s,
late night.
Yeah, I don't remember what sketch I'm talking of, but talking about that just now reminded me of Not Cool Zeus. Do you remember that one? That was a great one.
Was was that probably one of the satellite TV
It was one of
ones?
the channels
Yeah.
called Not Cool Zeus. And it was Zeus getting up to various hijinks. And somebody would go, not cool, Zeus. Anyway, sorry.
That reminds me of the inappropriate.
Very similar to that.
Yeah. Shout out to all the old school Conan O'Brien sketch fans.
That's right.
We John and I have a mutual friend from college who was and is a big Conan head.
Yep.
And you could always count on her to get the deepest of Conan cuts, the
Yep.
deepest of references.
She now runs a whole website and social media channels about
that's the
late
thing
night
that
archives.
she started the late night archives to have, because she's been like compiling every single episode from all of the series, from late night to the Tonight Show to now, but mostly she's been working on trying to get all the old episodes. And literally after she bought the domain, like, because she's been working on this and has been wanting to just have this place for Conan fans to have like every single episode, she bought the domain and started like hyping it. Like, I feel like it was like almost immediately after that Conan and the team announced that they would be doing just that by sometime early next year. And so I was like, poor Betsy.
It's tough.
It felt like a kind of a little blow to her.
Yeah.
So
anyway. You know what else took a blow last night? Not Bill Clinton, but the Trump administration's agenda.
Yeah.
Should we get into politics briefly here?
We just briefly. Good transition, bro.
Thanks, man.
I know that I'm normally the one that throws
Nails
down
the transition,
but I do appreciate that good transition.
Thanks,
I'm not going to step on it. Yeah. So mixed feels about last night for me. I was genuinely hoping for. I mean, I'm obviously there were some things that were expected. Mm-hmm. There was the expectation that the Democrats would take back the House. Mm-hmm. They did. They were not expected to take back the Senate. They didn't. But there were some races that I think the nation was watching that were kind of big, like the big races that, I mean, everybody has their own races in their own states that everybody was kind of like paying attention to, that they were excited about or invested in. But I think everybody was looking at the Beto O'Rourke, Ted Cruz Senate race in Texas, and the Andrew Gillum and Ron DeSantis race for governor in Florida. Because, I mean, obviously, it's just science that Ted Cruz is a slimy piece of shit.
Sure. He's a big fan of the show, but
big fan of the show. Big fan of the show, but sorry, Ted. We're Beto heads over here. Mm-hmm. He's a punk guy, so got to show him a little love.
It's true.
And in a state as big as Texas, for it to be so close, and for Beto to give Cruz that much of a run for his money, I was pretty impressed. And watching it flip back and forth all night was giving me such anxiety.
Yes. Yeah, I think, you're right that there weren't really any surprises necessarily. Andrew Gillum was a surprise. I was expecting Florida to win.
I was expecting him to win. That was, I mean, I don't know, maybe I was being naive. I was expecting both Beto and Gillum to win. I was more expecting Gillum to win Florida because I thought the polling was showing him ahead of DeSantis. Of course, all polling has a little bit of a margin of error, and this race was hella close.
Yeah, super close.
Yeah, and especially since DeSantis is also garbage human.
Not a racist, but the racists think he's racist, according to Gillum, which is a good observation / burn.
Yeah. He's Harriet
agrees.
Harriet is up in arms about it. Yeah, so here's the thing though. While Gillum and O'Rourke are not going anywhere, so I compared them to while he didn't win the primary, he like O'Rourke and Gillum, these guys that galvanized a lot of people was like in Illinois we had Daniel Biss, who was running in the Illinois primary for governor, and he was a state senator, and he's a super progressive guy, and people didn't know him at all, and he came out of nowhere, ran an amazingly progressive and populist campaign, and going up against J.B. Pritzker, a billionaire who just spent the most money in history on a gubernatorial campaign,
right?
And Chris Kennedy, yes,
a Kennedy,
who also has some money.
Sure.
Biss wasn't taking any corporate money. It was all small donors. And he reminded me in a lot of ways. He reminded me of Obama in his way of speaking, his very measured tone, that he had these sort of like pregnant pauses where he was thinking about what he was saying. Mm-hmm. And he was just such a gentle guy. He's the Newt Scamander of politics.
I could see him being a Gryffindor, but Hufflepuff could make sense too.
He could be a Ravenclaw.
Sure.
He was a math professor.
Not Slytherin.
He's not Slytherin.
Not Slytherin, eh? This could do well.
Anyway, so. But Biss went up against these super rich guys, and while he lost to JB in the primary, he beat Kennedy.
Yeah.
And, this is a guy who had zero name recognition. And I think what this is showing people is that they're starving for authenticity and people who actually are listening to them.
Totally.
And who are not people in general, when they're not entirely political hacks who only care about whether there's an R or a D next to the name.
Right.
But people can detect when somebody is inauthentic or in full of shit, Yep. And I think this is, one of the reasons that, people, of course, women in politics are always going to be judged more harshly, but it was always one of the criticisms of Hillary Clinton is that people always felt like she never seemed authentic. Mm-hmm. But, for whatever that's worth, I think she's always the stick by which she is measured is, she's never going to win, against, because she's for whatever reason is one of the most harshly judged politicians ever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if she has done a good job on anything or is one of the most accomplished women in politics.
Right.
She's always going to be, just as to some people, she's always just going to be the worst.
Right.
But you and I, we live in different districts.
It's true.
What were you watching last night?
It was an exciting night for my district, District 6 here, Illinois. We went blue for the first time in nearly 50 years.
What?
That's right.
Sean
Casten, baby.
Sean, I didn't know that was your district.
That's my boy.
Oh, fuck Roscom.
Yes.
I didn't know he was your district. Dude, that's amazing. Can you break down Peter Roscom?
I can. Here's my impression of Peter Roscom. Get it? Because he doesn't talk to people. Is that what you meant? No, his whole thing is like
sick.
Yeah, sick burn. We moved out to the suburbs several years ago into this district. I know, big time. And yeah, it's a long story.
Suburban home.
We moved out here to be closer to my wife's work. Anyway, long story. The point is, first time I've ever been represented by a Republican. I was like, well, I'm going to at least have some meetings with this guy, get involved in local political groups, only come to learn that he never meets with people. He's never had a town hall meeting. He only does these teletown halls where you have to call into a number, and it's clearly people who've been pre-screened and approved. And yeah, he's just the worst. He doesn't ever interact with anybody. And he was at this conference that I happened to attend last year. He was like giving this keynote address, and it was like, what is this guy even doing here? It was like a marketing conference for nonprofits, so I don't know what he was thinking, but they were accepting questions from the audience, and I got in line. I was ready to be like, oh, it's good to actually be able to ask you a question, Congressman, since you are my congressman, and I'm not able to do that. And I was expecting them to be like, oh... But just as I was getting psyched up to ask, this woman came up and said, he's not taking any more questions. And I said, okay. And I sat down. And then he took more questions that were like, you're so great, Congressman. And I was
like, my God.
So anyway, that's the type of dude he is. And he is now out.
Yeah.
Sean Casten, who's a green energy guy, big on climate change, beat him by 6 points, which was unexpected, but... tilting Democratic the last few weeks.
Can we just run down some of Roscom's greatest hits?
Please.
In 2006, Roscom called climate science junk science.
Yeah.
He received an NRA endorsement for being a supporter of gun rights.
Cool.
And he was a featured guest at an NRA support rally for him in Addison, Illinois.
Dan Sterrett was probably there.
Oh, shit, calling him out. So he's against Obamacare.
He's the worst. It says that too, right?
Let's see.
It's a section called The Worst.
Yes, he is the worst. On you can go to Wikipedia, and there's a section where it just says he's the worst. He's against same-sex marriage. He's garbage.
Yep.
So see ya, Roscom.
So that was exciting. Also, the Illinois 14th, which is one district over from me, traditionally Republican district as well, went blue. A young black woman, Lauren Underwood, took that district.
Boom.
Also very exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like from the perspective of like the states I am most kind of involved in, Upper Midwest, like pretty good night for the Midwest.
Before we move into other Midwest states, I just want to bring your attention to, there's a lot of conversation about white nationalism and Nazis and the things that are happening around the country. And I think sometimes people might think it's a little exaggerated and...
Nope.
That, these people carrying the tiki torches aren't actually Nazis, even though they 100% are when they're doing the Heil Hitler. And, these people are 100% Nazis. But if you needed any more evidence...
The guy who calls himself a literal Nazi.
The literal Nazi. In Illinois, Arthur Jones ran as a Republican, in the 3rd district. He didn't win. He was destroyed. But let me tell you this: he was not destroyed enough, in my opinion. He got 26.5% of the vote. 56,649 people cast their vote for a literal Nazi.
Not great. And it's not a district that's like historically Nazi leaning. I mean,
but here's another point. I'm going to be merciful. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to assume that some people
saw the R
and let's say,
did he have a Nazi instead of R next to it?
Yeah, he had a swastika next to his name. Let's say 50% just did that. That's still 28,000 people who are like, cool, let's vote. I want a Nazi representing my district.
Sure.
You know, this is, I can't, I mean, there's no chance that he was going to win, but at the same time, isn't there kind of a chance that he could win? Because let's be real, we're living in the upside down from Stranger Things where nothing makes sense.
Yep.
And there are monsters everywhere.
Yep. They don't look as cool as the ones in the show. They just look like old white guys.
They look like old white guys who are Nazis.
Their mouths don't open up into the flaps or anything that we know of. But yeah, Nazi support aside, to the north of us in Wisconsin, Scott Walker lost governor there, which feels pretty great.
Yes, I'm super pumped about Scott Walker losing. You know, I'll just say this about J.B. Pritzker in Illinois. Billionaire or not, Rauner also with Roscom, just the worst.
Very similar.
They're
didn't do anything interact with anyone.
Also, I mean,
never passed a budget.
Rauner, yeah, our state has had a fiscal crisis. I mean, our state has been there's a lot. You can
also find Illinois in the worst in Wikipedia.
Yeah, yes, there's a lot of fingers to point in Illinois.
Yep.
We're not a state that how you say has its shit together.
No.
There's so much corruption everywhere. You could just swing a stick in Springfield and just hit corruption.
Yep.
But this is on both.
Yeah,
there's
for sure
on both sides. So there's a reason that so many of our former governors are in prison.
That's what we said last night when Pritzker was accepting, which was like exciting, but it was also like, that guy's gonna go to jail, right? Like odds are better than not.
I mean, if history has shown us anything, I mean, I'm not even convinced that Rauner hasn't done something sketchy that we haven't found out yet. But I mean, also, anyway, I don't want to talk about Rauner. He's gone, and I'm hoping that JB, that other progressives like Daniel Biss can try and hold him accountable to progressive policies in our state.
Yeah, and I am excited for lieutenant governor that he ran with.
Yes.
Juliana.
A woman of color.
Stratton.
Yeah, that sounds right. Juliana Stratton. Juliana. I can't remember I think it's Juliana.
But if he goes to jail, I'd be fine with her taking over.
So we should talk about Minnesota, bro.
Pretty good night. From my hometown state.
Yeah. So we got the first Muslim women in Congress.
Yep.
Ilhan Omar, which is my brother's district.
That's right. Yep. First Somali American.
Yes. Yes.
woman or person? I think person.
Maybe person.
For Somali American
which
person
is
to be a
cool
member of Congress.
because there's a big Somali community
It's true.
up in Minneapolis, and I think it's Rashida Tlaib, and also there are I think both those women are only Ilhan Omar is in Minnesota, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Something else exciting happened in Minnesota.
In my parents' district, they're this douchebag of a guy lost, and he said something horrible, like, lamenting, that, back in the day there was, it was still a time when you could call a woman a cunt or something like that.
Wow.
Just something like horrific like that. But that guy is out, thankfully. But yeah, it was a big night for women of color. They're first Native American women.
Yeah. The new lieutenant governor of Minnesota is a Native American woman who I know a little bit. She
Nice.
Was involved with Sojourners when I worked there,
Oh,
and
cool.
she's awesome. And now she's the lieutenant governor of Minnesota.
That's amazing. Also, the first openly gay man elected governor, Jared Polis in Colorado. Not the first LGBTQ person in the governor position. That's held by Kate Brown in Oregon 2 years ago. She's openly bisexual. So, I mean, these are the things that... So, I was having this conversation with Dana today about not letting the loss of a handful of men overshadow all of the amazing wins by women last night, because 118 women will be serving in this Congress.
Definitely the highest number ever.
22%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 22% is still relatively low,
Yes,
but I mean,
compared to where we were not very long ago at all.
It's an increase, because I think it's 107 right now. So that's 11 more women representing. And of course, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the youngest woman in Congress ever. But I also want to shout out Laura Kelly in Kansas.
Oh yeah, good night for Kansas too.
So good. Because the state under Sam Brownback,
Not great.
for 7 years. So this is kind of, Republicans keep trying to push trickle down economics. Like, it's like, hey, you guys, I've got this great idea.
What if?
Now, hear me out. What if we keep giving rich people all of the money? Now, I know this sounds crazy, but I just think we need to try this again and see if cutting taxes for rich people and businesses, let's see if that works.
Always works great.
Spoiler alert. Kansas was a disaster, and last year they unanimously agreed to put the tax rates back to where it was because they were losing millions and millions of dollars and were having trouble funding like schools and hospitals and services for people.
Yeah,
So
you know how life works.
Shocking. And Trump is like, I have this great idea. What if I just give all of my rich friends a tax break? They're the job creators. It's
solid.
We're going to go down the road again of the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
It's probably not going to play out necessarily 100% in the same way, but it's just not. It's not going to work. What doesn't work, it won't work, and you can't build an economy off the backs of, or you can't you can't have all of the middle class and lower income people holding up the entire economy and expect rich people to just be like, oh, let's just, because when you give rich people more money, they keep it because they reinvest it,
right,
and just keep making more money. When you give it to lower income and middle class people, they save some, but they also spend it.
Yep.
And buy things, and maybe buy a new car, or maybe they buy a house or whatever. I'm excited for Kansas.
Yep.
I think it's going to be great for them. Oh, I also want to shout out our neighbor to the east in Indiana. Joe Donnelly, the Democrat, lost in his campaign. He ran a great Republican race.
Sure.
But wait, Andrew, didn't you say he was Democrat? Yes.
What?
I did. But if you watch any of Joe Donnelly's ads,
Yeah.
you would think, you'd be like, oh, that's a great Republican ad.
Yeah.
Just take him out and put a Republican. He's like, I support Trump's border wall, and the leftists want to make socialized medicine, and it's like Reagan said, peace through strength. It's like,
Right.
Okay, dude, like,
Yeah.
like what base are you like?
I mean,
why would anybody vote for you when they could actually vote for the Republican?
Sure. On the other hand, somebody like what's his name in West Virginia wins.
Joe Manchin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's garbage
by running
too.
a conservative campaign.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. This is old school Democratic politics, that they think what you need to do is you need to go more center. You need to go more center.
Sure.
And what you're seeing in a lot of these races is people who move more populist, progressive left. They start narrowing those margins, and sometimes they win. And you think, in places like Texas, that is historically always a solidly red state, for someone like Beto O'Rourke to be within striking distance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big deal, and it's because you're speaking to the people about the issues they care about, not, if you're talking to people about healthcare, that's at the forefront of everybody's mind. And for Ted Cruz to get up there and be like, I just want to make it clear that we care about pre-existing conditions. It's like, bro,
Yeah.
bro, you've been the party of repeal and replace for like the past 8 years.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden you're seeing like, oh, people are starting to notice that we're trying to take their health care away. And then you're just like, oh no, it's like, don't believe your lying eyes.
Right. Fake news. I think we should probably start wrapping up.
You think so?
I mean, unless we want to hit another 3 hour here.
I don't know, maybe.
Do you have other points you want to hit?
Any other hot takes?
These are good takes. If you like our left wing analysis, you're going to love our left coast punk
oh, shit.
analysis in the next segment. But I don't want to cut you off if you...
No, I think I said all I wanted to say, and we'll see how this whole nightmare with Jeff Sessions and everything plays out in the next hours, because who even knows? Like, we can't even have like a day without a constitutional crisis.
Hours.
Just can we just be normal for a second?
I see that Jim Acosta from CNN has now been denied access to the White House. He's had his press pass removed.
Oh my God,
so
really?
That's also going on. So by the time this episode comes out and King Trump has put us all into obedience camps, I hope this news is still relevant.
Oh my God.
Anyway, it's a better day. Let's focus on that. I feel a little bit better.
When you start removing all the opposition, just like there's no more opposition party if
Funny
there's
how that
no
works.
opposition.
Yeah, it's things are going to keep being bad, so we have to keep being aware.
Yeah,
we've got this on lock.
Yeah,
in the words of Mike.
Well,
but I think think we're on the right track.
Yeah, and speaking of, I'm just going to keep prolonging this segment. So I finally got this in the mail yesterday. What
your
could
Kickstarter?
No.
I'm just kidding.
Burn. Yeah, I should have just ordered it online. I would have gotten it 2 years ago. No, so shout out to our boy John Pavlovitz, Johnny Pavs. We've talked about on our pod numerous times, called out some of his articles, but he just released a new book. It's called Hope and Other Superpowers, a life-affirming, love-defending, butt-kicking, world-saving manifesto. And if there's anything that I need right now, it's a little life-affirming and hope.
Yeah.
And something to read that kind of gives me a little bit of positivity. And it's called A Spirited Call to Action. So I don't know. Maybe we'll do some Magnified Pod book reviews.
Yeah, I like it.
Get a book club.
Sign up for the book club. If you have hot takes of your own about our political climate.
Yeah, I mean, we're super lib over here, but if you have a different take, or if there's someone in your district that won, that flipped, that you're excited about, or whatever, even if it's not a Democrat, whatever your experience is, everybody's going to have a different election night experience, but we'd like to hear your thoughts. So, but when we come back, we will be talking about LCP, Left Coast Punk. And we're back.
Mm-hmm.
John,
yes.
Can you share that amazing little thing you found about sorting one's house or sorting one's state into a...
Yeah. Shout out to the podcast Binge Mode for those who are as big of Harry Potter heads as we, and you are not yet listening to it. You definitely should be. In the Binge Mode Facebook group, I just was telling Andrew, I saw a post that said, sort each state into a house. Is there any state more Hufflepuff than Colorado? Which is very in keeping with our last segment talking about Hufflepuffs and states and Colorado. And some of the great comments include, let's see, Florida is a squib, which people who don't read Harry Potter is a non-magical offspring of a witch or wizard. Louisiana's Gryffindor. Our state motto is basically hold my beer and watch this. New York is Slytherin. I see some Minnesota's Hufflepuff, which I agree with.
Yeah.
New Jersey is Slytherin. Anyway,
yeah. I mean, I think if one considers the whole idea of Minnesota nice, having like a Hufflepuff, I mean, that just kind of makes sense to me.
Definitely.
Let's talk LCP.
Yeah.
Are you down with LCP?
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah.
Down with the LCP EP.
Yeah, I guess this makes it another one of our eps.
Not bad.
I'm wondering if, depending on when this episode is released, it actually might be, we might release this episode right after the 9-year anniversary of the release of this EP. It was released November 17th, 2009.
It was kind of in that lull period for them, post Secret Weapon, pre-plans.
Yeah.
'Cause this is
and
like
I think probably Mike was, doing some Tumbledown stuff, because he started Tumbledown like in between
Right.
Panic and Secret Weapon.
Yeah. I think this is about 6 months after On the Cover 2, about a month before Punk Rock Christmas. So another, that period of not proper albums necessarily, but another Rock City self-produced record.
Yeah. And Tumbledown's first album was also released in 2009. So I wonder if it was a way of sort of, when people were like, what's he doing? What's going on with MXPX? It was this sort of a way of like being like, calm your tits, people. MXPX is still doing things.
Yeah. I had not listened to this, or most of it, until this week.
Really?
And I gotta say, where has this album been all my life / the last 9 years? It's pretty great.
No, it is. It's actually one of the stronger EPs that I think they've done. It has, for only 6 songs, it's definitely a really strong, and the production is better than the Renaissance EP.
Yes.
So their production chops are but actually was Stephen Edgerton, I think he might have maybe had a role.
It's a Steffi Edge jam.
I think it might be.
I didn't know it.
I have like 1,000 political tabs open right now.
I was not aware of Big Stevie's involvement on this record, but probably took a break from playing in Bad Religion to...
Of course, yeah, he was... actually, speaking of Bad Religion, Greg Graffin and Mike Herrera have the same birthday.
What?
Yeah, dog.
Did you know Mike Herrera's dad's birthday is the day after his?
Yeah, I saw
learned that this week too.
Yeah, which is kind of bananas. This is the kind of thing that make people think that we don't do research, but mastered by Stephen Edgerton.
What?
At Armstrong Recording.
Nailed it.
But it was recorded and mixed by Mike.
Okay.
I don't know why I just didn't look at the insert right in front of my goddamn face. But additional engineering by Yuri and Tom.
Okay.
So...
Yeah, I'd say the recording, the production is good. It's definitely like...
It's no Casey Bates.
It's no Casey Batesy, as I like to call him. It's kind of, I feel
as
like
we all do.
They're sort of halfway between Secret Weapon and Plans here in terms of like production sheen. Like, I feel like a lot of these songs, there's a hardcore instrumentation, like on the verses, but then the vocals and the melodies and the choruses are a little poppier.
Yeah.
And there's some sheen on some of that that I could do without. But what I will say, there's certainly no uninteresting songs on this for me. I feel like they're trying a lot of things. There's some cool stuff going on. There's some complex pieces within songs. So I was really happy to listen to that this week.
Yes, as always. So we should talk about the cover of the album.
Is that a Jared Scott joint?
It is a Jared Scott joint, and it is a banging photo.
It's pretty cool.
I think it's pretty tight.
Dudes are jumping.
Yeah, I love
black and white.
I love a punk jump, bro.
Love a good punk jump.
I love a good punk jump.
Future pod guest Jared Scott capturing the moment.
Yep, and I think this is one of his first tours, and he caught a pretty sick shot. But so speaking of covers, we had a break in the mystery about the Harry Nux guy.
Oh, my favorite unsolved mystery.
Yes. So evidently it was one of the guys. I think the guy was Tom's guitar tech for maybe a short period of time.
And
but
like the look of that dude's nuts.
Yeah, bro, you want to get on this photo? And I guess they're like, oh yeah, I guess. I mean, sure, whatever.
You want to draw my knuckles?
Yeah, just draw my knucks. And should I shave my knucks? No, bro. No, you're good. No, I like your hand pubes.
Solid.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the CD kind of looking like a record?
I think it looks cool.
It's got like tape on it. Shit.
Yeah, they're just DIYing it, getting back to their roots.
Yeah.
They're punks.
There are some. I need to say that for the CD I have, it's maybe a Japanese import. Because it has the bonus tracks.
Perfect.
On here.
Which we'll get into.
Coffee Song and Keep a Beat. But the insert has all the lyrics and also the Japanese versions of said lyrics opposite the English.
Perfect.
So for those who know Japanese, and which I don't.
Nope. Mike does in that one song.
Yes, he does. And he does it very.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah, I like this album, this EP. Should we get into it?
I think we should. Just get deep in.
Just in there.
Let's start with
the first track.
Let me see. Let's just go 1, 2, 3.
What the hell? Let's just do number 1.
4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll do 1. Oh shit.
I've got stacks of notebooks with words written through. I've got a basement for junk and a heart just for you. It's just the way I am. That's just the way I am and always will be. One step closer, that's so far away. One step closer and I'm proud to say I'm one step further from the man that I was yesterday. I'm one step further. One step further.
Can I make a guess?
Yes, you can.
Is this your number 3?
It's my number 1,
It's
bro.
your number 1? Wow.
Is it your number 3?
It's not on my list, bro.
What? You thought it would be as low as 3, but
it narrowly. So here are my reasons. Well, first, since it's your number 1, I want to hear your.
The reason is that it rules.
It does rule.
That bass line in the opening.
It does.
Come on, man.
It does rule.
Makes me want to do a punk jump off of this table and smash through a wall.
I know, but here, do you want to know one of the reasons that? And maybe it's not fair. After after Rolling Strong,
That's true.
here's... So, I'm not going... I can't fault a song...
This was 10 years ago.
Yes. No, but here's another thing. So after listening to that, do you hear how like almost muted?
Yeah.
It sounds.
Well,
it doesn't have that Mike Herrera, Ernie Ball bass grittiness.
Yeah.
It just.
We are on record as saying the production and sound on their newest record is probably the best to date.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case for this EP, but so that might account for some of it. I hear you, but this rocks so hard.
It does. It really does.
There's definitely some of that pop sheen and vocals to the harmonies in the chorus there, but I'm still into it.
Yeah.
I'm here for
so
it.
here is this kind of gets to some of the mixing and inconsistencies on this EP that I want to get to I'll talk about in other songs. But there's this one part in One Step Further where they do a hard stop and come back in.
And you love it?
I do love it. But here, I'm gonna find it here real quick and then I'll see if you can notice it. So when I listen to this on headphones and I'm listening to the song all the way through, I feel like the volume or the gain or the mastering of the song, like it almost feels like it got quieter, and that kind of throws me off every time I listen to it.
Sure.
So, and again, these are just like me being kind of nitpicky.
Yep.
But here's another thing. This song, the one of the things about this EP is that One Step Further is actually one of my favorite songs on the EP.
Okay.
I didn't put it in my top 3 for a couple reasons, but it should be because I identify with the lyrics a lot about sort of trying to be a better person,
sure,
and trying to be kind of a different dude, and than I was. That's kind of like when I think of this song, it's like I don't know, that I kind of look at who I was, and that who I was not who I wanted to be, and
maybe you're running.
I'm constantly
like
running. But he says I got a problem keeping it under control, and one step closer to the goals he set, further from a life full of regret. And I don't know if this is, he's written a lot about mental health, but like at least for my own brain, when I hear this song, it's like I'm trying to be a better dude, trying to be a better person, and trying to get further from the person that I don't want to be or who I was.
Mm-hmm. But you don't resonate enough with it to put it in your top 3.
I mean, it's weird that I didn't, because I'm making an argument for why it should be
right.
Probably my number 1.
Is it because of the production?
I don't know.
It's just one step further away from your list than it should be.
It is. But
well, I'm very curious to hear your list now.
I'm still standing up for things that I believe, laying down for things that I don't need. I try to do what's best for you and me, desperate to understand where we are and where we've been, where we're going and what we'll find within. Desperate to understand where we are and where we've been, desperate to understand.
Desperate to understand. Is that on your list?
It's my number one.
Dang, it's my number 3. That's pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah. I part of me when I was driving over here, I was doing my mental list of the songs I think were on yours.
Did you expect this to be?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know your third one for sure. Well, I 100% know.
Yeah. This was, I went back and forth with my number 3 and my number 2. So
Yeah. So I just love the.
it's awesome.
It's super rad.
I love that it's really fast until it slows way down for the bridge.
Yep.
And then it comes right back up to super fast again.
Yeah.
So great. Yeah.
So,
I really like it.
yep. Super good. What do you think it's about?
I feel like it's kind of about how he wants to understand. Like he's almost like desperate to understand.
Such an asshole.
I read through the lyrics, but they didn't do much for me. I don't know. What do you think?
Part of me, like, this is still, I feel like, in like on the cusp of kind of dark MXPX a little bit.
Agreed.
In some of these,
especially in this next song.
Yeah. Just like the first song, it seems like these two songs to me sound like self-work.
Yes.
And I resonate with that.
Yeah.
And I like that. So I don't know. I don't know if it's, I don't know. It does something for me, but
Yeah.
my own interpretation,
Sure.
I'm not going to necessarily put that on top of
Sure.
whatever Mike meant in his songwriting.
I think he's figuring things out.
Yeah. And I'm down for it.
Yeah, I like it. Feels, we were just talking about the self-titled record and how it was very present and grateful and
Yeah.
almost at peace, and that is not where he's at on this EP.
No, definitely not. Definitely not on this song.
Broken.
So before we get into the song, the very beginning of the song,
I
to
have a
me,
comment about this too.
it should we just keep listening and then we'll comment on it after?
Sure.
Okay.
This road is killing me, just like that needle in your arm. I just can't get enough, so I'm ignoring the alarm. Stuck in a wooden box, should be asleep without a sound. There is no daylight here, feels like I'm 6 feet underground. My legs are broken, my arms are broken, my lungs aren't breathing, my head is bashed in. My legs are broken, my arms are broken, my heart is broken, my heart is broken. Now I know there's nothing left in this world. I'd rather do like if the earth was flat.
I'm curious about what you're going to say.
So
Oh, 100%, yes. This was in my head.
I'm
But I
like, is this
couldn't
a
articulate
before
it.
everything and after
That-
B-side?
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
it has that same sort of like,
Totally.
oh, this is gonna be a fun
We're
song.
bouncy and winky,
But then it's like,
but then it goes to a dark place.
I hate
The
touring.
needle-
Touring is the worst.
Yeah, the needle's in the other person's arm within like seconds.
I mean, my understanding is that touring is fucking awful, but it's like a drug, and he needs it.
See, this was one that I was going to ask you.
It
What's
says
going on here?
the road is killing me, just like the needle in your arm. I just can't get enough.
Okay.
So I'm ignoring the
Wouldn't it be the
alarm.
needle in my arm then?
Well,
He's
he
just
says the road
talking.
is killing me, just like the needle in your arm.
Who's the you?
I don't know. Somebody who's doing drugs, who's addicted to drugs.
Okay,
he's
okay.
addicted
So
to the
he's
road.
just pointing out a drug addict and saying, my touring experience is similar to yours.
Someone who has an addiction.
My notes were, he's dying. She's on drugs. Both on drugs. So I don't know. I think yours is probably more correct. No, my comment.
Everybody's dead?
Your comment about the Before Everything song is correct, but where I was going was that, do you remember the song New Age Girl?
No.
I've got a new age girl.
No.
Tell us what she's like.
What? Who did this song?
Dead-Eye Dick, I want to say. Please Google it.
What?
Mary Moon. You will know this song.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Moon.
New Age Girl.
The beginning is like very similar. The like doo 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 doo, which right?
Yeah. Oh, yep.
I was waiting for that to come.
Yeah. Okay.
You remember that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that is a song. But I was just like, I think we even talked. What is that? Kings of Hollywood? That it sounds like.
Yes.
I think we even talked about that on the Before Everything app that we did, where it's just like, I just like picture like a goofy dude, like, hey, like, I don't know. It doesn't put me in the right frame of reference.
Definitely wearing like cargo shorts and a visor,
Yeah.
bleached tips with some like jogleys.
But I like it. It's a little all over the place. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Musically and lyrically. Lots of destruction happening. He's in a bad way. A lot of things are broken, and I like this part.
Yep.
Oh, got a new age girl.
Yep.
So that's that one. Not
I mean,
on
I
either
don't
of our top
dislike.
threes.
I don't
No,
dislike the
either.
song. It just sort of smacks of Kings of Hollywood.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's probably why it's not in my top three.
But
You know
this
what it is,
one,
though?
I 100% knew this song was in your top three, and I can tell you 100% why after we hear this jam.
I can't wait.
I was dragged out, drugged up, crushed up like a paper cup. I was made a fool and told a lie. I was Shanghai in Shanghai. Shanghai in Shanghai. Shanghai, not too young to die. Shanghai in Shanghai. Shanghai, not too young to die.
We're just gonna keep listening for a minute.
The choice was mine, to live or drown. Back-breaking work from sun up to sundown. Swapping the deck when I'm planning my escape. Liberty or death, I'm gonna make a break.
Is it because it's the same as One Stop, Chop
Yes.
Chop? Yeah, it's
It
very
is
similar.
Mike Moen.
Okay.
It's the same guy.
Who is that guy again?
His name is Mike Moen.
But what band is he in?
He's in some Bremerton band.
Yeah, I was trying to remember this too. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "That's the guy from Chop Shop."
It is 100% the same guy.
And yes, it is my number 2.
Yep. And it
love
is
this.
my number 2 as well.
Yes, I'm so on board for this song.
Yep.
I think you're correct that my love of Chop Shop probably translates over here. It's got the same kind of like Shanghai, but I love that dude. I want to know what his band is so I can get into them.
Yeah, we need to get more. We need more Mikey Mo.
Yeah,
on
I'm down. See, this is definitely dark and dirty MXPX.
Yeah. He also did. Mike Moen also did. He designed the Screw Loose artwork for the 7-inch record.
Seems like an interesting dude.
Yeah.
Hashtag Get him on the pod.
Gotta get him on the pod.
I gotta find this guy.
His name is Mike the Pike Moen.
Oh, he's even got a dope nickname.
Yeah, right?
What a real punk.
He's punk AF.
I want to be the Pike or something like that.
I mean, what would be your...
Johnny the Potts Potter. Big Johnny Potts. Nope.
Johnny Potts is not a
good look.
No.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like the rest of the album in the sense that like it's got this very hardcore feel, and then it like sort of goes into some more sort of like polished vocals, and like
that's actually one of the reasons why I thought One Step Further wouldn't make your top 3.
Yeah,
because it would maybe be a little bit
polished,
too Secret Weapon, or too like the beginning of like Secret Weapon. It's like got this rad.
No, I do.
But then it gets into like...
It goes somewhere else.
It goes into like the big soaring chorus.
I know what you mean, and I agree. And I have to say, listening back to Shanghai and Shanghai just now is like, ooh, is this my number one? I don't know. But I just feel like that, like it's just undeniable.
Yeah, it's super rad.
Smaller than we think we are.
Yeah.
So that one, it just ekes it out. But
I wish it had grit to it.
Sure.
Because it doesn't.
Shanghai does.
Yeah. We need to get to the
Let's get to that breakdown. Oof. It rules. That bass part. Oof. Yes. Talking about prog metal.
Yeah, right? I'm here for this. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, and then back into the verse. It's so great. We were talking last episode about how we're here for prog rock and prog metal. That's kind of like, and we were like joking, like MXPX needs a 13-minute prog metal anthem, and that I think we got a little taste of what it would sound like, and I like it.
I would be down for Mike Moen getting down on the on some of those vocals. Swabbing the deck, I'm planning my escape. Death.
Yeah, that little.
I don't even know like how to put my finger on the kind of vocal that he sings.
He's like a pirate or something. Punk as hell.
Yeah, it's almost like Rancid-esque.
Yeah.
Or
like I'm playing a punk character right here. But I'm into it.
I don't know.
I can't. Yeah,
I can't put my finger on who he sounds like.
Close, but yeah, there's probably somebody who's a little more.
Yeah.
I want to know about the origins of this song lyrically. Like, did something terrible happen in Shanghai?
I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm assuming it's this album has a lot of touring kind of stories. It seems like
maybe this is when they were kind of fed up.
Yeah, maybe this was because this was sort of around the time that the documentary, Both Ends Burning, where they're just like, I don't know. Maybe this was kind of pushing them to their limits.
Yeah, they were too young to die.
They were swabbing the deck.
Yeah, I don't know. I even was like, is it cool to say you got Shanghai? That feels vaguely racist to me. But it's probably okay because it's like about a location.
I mean, it's problematic fave.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Okay, so wait, we've heard.
I haven't looked up the etymology of whether it says informal, coerce or trick someone into a place or position or into doing something. Sometimes, like they'll say, in the definition, they'll say like
origins racist.
No, but they'll say like derogatory or like
I don't think it's that, but it certainly has the connotation that like you'll get screwed over if you go to China and specifically Shanghai.
Yeah,
maybe Shanghai is known.
It says it's practice of kidnapping people to serve as sailors by coercive techniques.
Oh, that makes sense with the swabbing the deck and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. Mike was a pirate for a while.
Yep.
Forgot about that.
Yar.
I'm into it. I'm here for Pirate MXPX. Man, we've done some great wiki dives on this app. If you want to know more about getting shanghaied, look it up.
Yeah, and they have like all these people with these notable crimps.
If you've got a notable crimps section in your Wikipedia page, things are going well.
Yeah, I want to talk about having a sick nickname.
Johnny the Crimps Potter. That's what they call me. Big Crimps is here.
Here, speaking of Canada, Andy Shanghai Canuck Maloney.
Oh, that's awesome. I want to be friends with that guy.
Right? Chris Blind Boss Buckley.
That's awesome. Wish I was a blind
Shanghai
boss.
Joe.
These are all great.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to. You're Johnny Shanghai Potter now.
I'm into it, even if it appears racist.
Let's not have you on record saying that. I'm definitely for something if it sounds cool, even if it's totally racist.
Your question is racist. I didn't get shanghaied in Shanghai.
Racist, wrong. It's too bad we're not recording this because people would see my terrible Trump faces.
Oh, man.
Because when I do the voice, I have to do the hands.
Little gestures.
I have to do the hands.
Your hands get smaller somehow.
Yeah. So he has he has 3 hand gestures. It's the double OKs. And then he does the points,
right? And then he brings them together.
And then he does the two hands.
Come on, what the hell?
Yeah, he's like he's pleading, like he's begging. He has his 2 hands. He's like, and then the okay, the double ones, and then the hands out.
This is great audio.
Yeah, this is great for a podcast. This is great podcast material.
He's got 2 hand gestures, unlike Rick Allen, who's only got 1 hand gesture. Bringing it back to Def Leppard.
Burn notice.
Yeah, but he still does more than Trump could with the drum kit.
That's
I don't know,
true.
Something like that. Anyway,
you lost it a little bit there, but we'll I would like to see. I would like to see Trump. Like, I bet if Trump met Rick Allen, he would find some way to be like, I bet, I'm amazing. I used to drum. I'm an amazing drummer. I could do more with my 2 arms than you can with 1. It's like,
I'm sure he would
say something really stupid like that.
Oh, man.
Speaking of hopeless cases.
I'm a hopeless case. You can see it written on my face. I'm a hopeless case, but I gotta believe I can change. 'Cause this town is breaking down around me. Everything that I see is breaking down around me.
So this is Mike's emo corner.
100%.
I'm a hopeless case. It almost reminds me of waking up is hard to do when no one loves you.
Yeah.
Just what are the yeah, that just sort of like opening with
That's an all-timer.
I'm a hopeless case. You can see it right on my face.
I'm a piece of shit. Everybody
Fuck me,
hates
am I
me.
right, guys? I'm the worst. I'm basically Peter Roscom.
Oh man, I can't wait for those Roscom bonus tracks. I would.
He's got the time on his hands.
Yeah, he's got a great EP coming. I guess that's it. He got shanghaied this election.
Oh shit!
I would say that Hopeless Case is interesting. I'm not sure it totally works. Like, there's a lot going on here again.
Yeah, it's weird. It almost like has an anti-chorus.
Yeah, it
It doesn't really
transitions.
go anywhere.
No. I still like it
because this town is breaking down around me is the chorus,
right?
but it's kind of an unsatisfying chorus.
Yeah.
It doesn't reach the heights of One Step Further or Desperate to Understand or really any other song on this EP.
Yeah. We've heard 2 of your 3.
Yes, you have.
All right, I can put these. Oh, wait.
Or can you?
Or can I?
It's that time again. It's that time again. The show has now come to an end.
If you want a
It's
best
time to
life,
go home.
crack one open.
Where are my friends?
We have no best lives left.
Yeah, it's that time again. Let's jump into the car and get out on the road. Turn up your favorite songs on the radio. Stay out all night long, cause no one wants to go home. No one wants to go home. No one wants to go home. It's that time again. It's that time.
So this is End. Was the single from this record, which makes sense. Certainly, I mean, I had heard this one. I can't remember what we've seen in.
I think it was in
maybe
it was in Both Ends Burning.
That could be.
They featured some of these songs in Both Ends Burning.
Yeah, it's certainly the poppiest on this batch.
Yep.
But again, there's kind of a lot going on. I'd say it's pretty good. I'm not quite as into it as the others on the record. But there's fun sing along, kind of like ska verses almost, which is different for them. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it's sort of like almost a little fusion or something.
Yeah, something's going on.
Because they do have that
yeah, I like this reverby guitar sound.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's pretty different for them.
It's that time again. The show has now come to an end.
Gold star vocals on our part.
Yes. It's an interesting one. I busted out the Best Life voice there because I'm like, this seems like it's a commercial. Like, you can see the song, like, just a couple buds, like, hanging out. Yeah.
Do you want to have the best life? Well, then just head on over to Silver City and grab yourself a Best Life IPA. Your friends will appreciate it when you're at your latest campfire, busting out your acoustic guitar. You turn to your pal and say, "Hey, you're my friend. Have a best life with me."
You nailed it. Don't get shanghaied. Get your best life.
Are you broken?
Is that a needle in your arm? Why don't you come on over here to Silver City and have a best life?
Yes. I wish we were drinking a Best Life right now.
Sad. R.I.P.
So yeah, that was one of the instrumentals.
Yeah, that was perfect. Designed for usages such as that one.
Yeah, so the CD came with 3 instrumental bonus tracks.
Right.
One Step Further. I don't know why one would need these. I guess if they're going to do karaoke.
I think we should.
Okay. Let's crank that up. Yeah, let's do this. Oh shit. Those are my ad-libs.
I've got stacks of notebooks with words written through. Got a basement for junk and a heart just for you. It's just the way I am. That's just the way I am and always will be. One step back.
We're both trying to harmonize.
Well, it's also almost 10 o'clock at your house.
Yeah,
I'm not going to start screaming. That was already
Jenny just texted me. It's loud.
Sorry.
Yes.
Fuck. Sorry, Jenny.
Anyway, that's...
Can you tell her? Can you tell her that was all my fault?
Andrew says it's his fault.
Yes. Yeah, tell her we were doing MXPX karaoke.
Oh, I understand.
Oh, that's fine. Okay. I'm sorry. We will stop yelling.
That's what these instrumental tracks are
We
made for,
should
though.
have closed the door.
Yeah,
That's probably the problem.
probably.
So anyway, there are 3 additional songs.
Some might say not needed.
On a String is one of the weirdest editions of an MXPX song on any of the EPs that they've released.
And particularly the vocals are weird.
It was part of the bonus tracks for the regular CD. I don't know why this was released.
It's just a demo, right?
Yeah, but considering the tight nature of the 6 songs,
Right. Yeah, no.
why this one? It seems like not even a fully thought out song.
Perhaps even a demo version of a real song.
I want the whole world on a string.
Weird. That is not
I
my...
wanna watch it swing. I want the whole world on a string. I wanna watch it swing. Yes, I'm lashing out. 'Cause you don't know what I'm about.
Yeah, I was going to say that is not our buddy from Chop Shop and Chain Neck. That's just Mike.
I want the whole
Yeah. Not.
It's kind of in keeping with like the metal-y vibe of some of the songs, though.
I mean, I guess.
If there's a more polished final version with better vocals, I think I'd be into it.
I would support that. But yeah, at this point, it seems kind of a weird song to include on I don't know. I wouldn't even say it's like up to like Let It Happen standards of demos.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah. So that is On a String. So now we get to the 2 Japanese bonus tracks. One of them being the coffee song.
Do I kick your doors down? Rain on your parade? Set fire to your hair and ruin all the plans you made? Am I a thorn in your side? You want me out of your sight? I'm always making you mad. I thought that everything was alright. You drink a cup of coffee, but you didn't touch your food. Was it something that I said that put you in a bad mood? I guess what I'm done, but you didn't have to be so rude. I'm like a buzz in your ears. I'm like a fly on a wall. I'm like a bad day, like a constant telemarketing call. Hi, is this a bad time? So when's a good time to call? She said never again.
Some folks had mentioned this as a favorite B-side or rarity.
Yes, I'm
When we
pretty
asked about
sure.
Dr. Jen Mandigo, I
Dr.
believe.
Jen.
There might have been some other folks.
This is my number 3.
Okay, interesting. It's really fun.
It's fun, and I find it works for me in a way that other sort of winky songs haven't in the past.
Sure.
And maybe it's because it's on an EP or it's a bonus track that's not.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just like, well, this is not a, it's not, thrown on the end of Secret Weapon or something.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's not tightly wound,
It does feel different from the rest of the songs here.
It does.
Even End, which is like poppier and stuff. But yeah,
it's bouncy.
It is very bouncy in kind of a fun way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it. It's fun. It's, I don't know. As we know, legalistic people suck, but I wonder if the legalists out there will say, well, it's not technically part of the EP, so can you count it in your top 3? Which,
well, then if
I'll see you in court.
If the legalistic people who suck say that, then I will throw one step further into my top 3 then.
Sure.
Which then means we would have all 3 of the same songs.
Yeah, and I think that your instincts about what my order perhaps should have been were probably right. Like, I went back and forth. I don't know. They're flexible.
Yeah.
But Shanghai could very easily be my number 1.
Yeah.
I think this comes from the 2008 7-inch that Keep a Beat was the side B on.
Mm-hmm.
And this Keep a Beat has a similar vibe, I would say. But not as good.
Nope.
Let's clear the table and hit the town to make our mark and to break our sound. Let's keep a beat, take it out to the street. Everyone gather round, 'cause this is our sound. So let's keep a beat, take it out to the street. Everyone gather round, 'cause this is our sound. Bring all your friends, we'll sing along. This is your show, this is your song. This is your club, this is your town. This is your voice, this is your sound.
No.
I think I'm more into it than you are.
I'm not on board for sort of this kind of like manufactured
Yeah.
kind of sentimentality.
Yes.
It's
a little too slick.
I'm just talking about the lyrics. Like,
It sounds like another commercial.
this is for you,
This is
man.
your bud. This one's for you. Tap the
Have the best
Rockies.
life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this one feels like another ad campaign or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I will I think it's
doesn't
catchy.
float my penis.
I think it's catchy and fun enough to float mine a little bit. But,
Yeah,
yeah.
doesn't do much for me.
Well, those bonus tracks are an interesting collection, but I will say the core 6 songs I am super on board with.
I am as well. Something that we didn't mention in the we also on the gang vocals, you have Jack Parker and Harley Trotland, who are the members of two of the members of Tumbledown.
Yeah, interesting.
And formerly of the Rocky Point All-Stars, which is another sort of like alt country band. And I think Mike pretty much just said, "You're my band now."
Yeah, you come here now.
You come.
Yeah, I'm excited for us to get into Tumbledown
Yeah.
down the road here.
Yeah. I also just got an Arthur vinyl in the mail today.
Dope.
Yeah.
Excited for that too.
Yeah, boy.
But yeah, that was Left Coast Punk. Let us know your thoughts. I think that's about all
Your
we got
thoughts
to
and
say.
ideas, if you will.
All of those things. Yeah, let's see. You can go ahead and follow us at Magnified Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Why don't you go ahead and give us a review or a rating? You can just mash that subscribe button.
Crush that
Just
like.
crush it at Apple Podcasts or iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, What else can folks do?
They can email us, magnifiedpod@gmail.com. They can call us on our voicemail line, 872-762-4763 or 872-7-MAG-POD, and tell us all their feels.
That's right. What are we doing on our next episode? Unclear.
It is unclear.
Perhaps a very special interview episode.
Perhaps an interview. Perhaps we will be tumbling down.
Oh,
perhaps
we'll see.
I don't know. We are getting to the point where we're just saying, I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
If you have very strong feelings about what you think we should cover next, let us know.
And we just gave you all the ways with which you can communicate those opinions to us.
Send us an owl post.
Yeah, send us a Hedwig style. Don't send us a pig widgeon.
Yeah, it's just gonna slam into our window over here at the studios. Well, we're closing out with Harry Potter jokes as we always do, and whatever we cover next episode, I can tell you that we'll have an interview. Nope. Fuck. Really thought I had it that time. Okay. Whatever we cover next episode, I can tell you that it'll be about time for podcasts at our house, and it wouldn't be the same without you. So join us, won't you?
Got a basement for junk and a heart just for you. Too loud. It's just the way I am.